I'm Alex Makovica from inside the Nebraska Soybean Board Studios here to recap some midday market activity as we get ready to head into the noon hour. Mike Zuzolo of Global Commodity Analytics is joining us for this conversation. A little bit of change, actually, just as we've hopped on here, Mike. The grain's trying to turn around. And what I hear you say is weekly export sales are a big driver in today's movement. Tell us more.
I think so, Alex. It seems to me that we tried to pick up where we left off from Wednesday with the tariffs and the trade. The market, I think, on Thursday saw those weekly export sales, some very good, some very bad. Pork export sales, for instance, really rough, marketing year low, big net reductions from China. But corn, kind of the star of the show, up 1% from the 4 week average. Definitely saw a better export sales week in corn versus the beans, the products, and the wheat market. So the corn bulls are trying to run the front end, push that bull spread here at midday, and corn's trying to pull the whole thing together, I think, as far as turn the whole market around. I think the other thing that maybe happened is that we've got a weaker dollar again because the trade's more nervous about U.S.-China trade relationship. And corn and wheat have been doing better in the last few weeks with a weaker dollar than the soybeans have been doing. So that's something else to be watching here.
As we look at beef trade today, it is actually trading lower. It seems like we haven't seen that a whole lot lately. Are export sales impacting that picture? What's behind it?
Yeah, had good export sales in the beef. I think up about 1% versus the 4 week, 11% versus the 4 week average. The issue with beef continues to be Wall Street. It's up today, but not a lot. And I think, as I said, I think the nerves there are still starting to come into the market with the U.S. China trade. Pork export sales probably the biggest issue for the cattle market right now, but we're not doing bad after making that record high in the fat cattle. We do have a negotiated cash price, about $4 discount to the April futures. That's probably something else we're watching.
Absolutely. Things to dive into in the channel final bell later this afternoon, where Mike will join us, Mike Zuzolo of Global Commodity Analytics. You can catch it live on our Rural Radio Network stations. If you miss it, it's a podcast at ruralradionetwork.com. That's a check on today's midday market activity from the Nebraska Soybean Board Studios.